Hi, I'm Mark Botsford, one of the pastors here at Northwest Christian Church, and I'd like to share with you an episode in the life of Jesus that we find in the 5th chapter of Mark. And it goes like this. Jesus got into the boat again and went to the other side of the lake, where a large crowd gathered around him on the shore. Then a leader of a local synagogue, whose name was Jairus, arrived. When he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet, pleading fervently with him. "My little daughter is dying," he said. "Please come and lay your hands on her, heal her so she can live." So Mark tells us that Jesus went with Jairus along with a large crowd, but he was delayed due to healing and engaging with a woman who was also desperate for healing. But so here's how Mark continues. While Jesus was still speaking to the woman, messengers arrived from the home of Jairus, the leader of the synagogue. They told him, "Your daughter is dead. There's no use troubling the teacher now." But Jesus overheard this and said to Jairus, "Don't be afraid, just have faith." Then Jesus stopped the crowd and wouldn't let anyone go with him except for Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw much commotion, weeping, and wailing. He went inside and asked, "Why all this commotion and weeping? The child isn't dead. She's only asleep." The crowd laughed at him. But he made them all leave, and he took the girl's father and mother and his 3 disciples into the room where the girl was lying. And holding her hand, he said to her, "Talitha kum," which means, "Little girl, get up." And the girl, who was 12 years old, immediately stood up and walked around. They were overwhelmed and totally amazed. Jesus gave them strict orders not to tell anyone what had happened. And then he told them to give her something to eat. Well, there's so much here to consider and learn about faith in this passage. But it struck me that after Jesus brought the 12-year-old girl back to life, he told her parents to give her something to eat. I mean, did Jesus all of a sudden realize he forgot something? It was obviously important, or he wouldn't have given them such direct instructions. Perhaps he was concerned the parents were so overwhelmed and joyful that they might forget to feed her. Then I began to wonder if there's maybe a subtle statement here that though there had been a miraculous healing, life in this fallen world continues, and therefore we must continue to move forward with what needs to be done. After being brought back to life, her body still needed the nourishment of food as a result of her illness. And Jesus didn't do anything about that. He took care of the one very essential need, but not all of her needs. He left other needs to her parents. And I think there's a lesson here for me personally, and perhaps for you, that God may choose at times to take care of something even pretty big that only He can do, and maybe even do it at times in a miraculous way. But He still expects us to take up the slack and stand in the gap and do what we're called to do in the need of the moment. Now, that moment for us can be many things. And it may be sometime to give someone who's hungry something to eat, or to the thirsty something to drink, to a stranger a place to stay, for someone in need of clothes something to wear, for the sick being helpful to that person in prison, perhaps a caring visit. Sometimes the need of the moment is something we look for and find and then do. Or we hear the prompting of the Holy Spirit to act. Sometimes it's as simple as answering that phone call, text, or email to the request of assistance, help, and support. Whichever it is, we can answer the call, take up the slack, and stand in the gap for the need of the moment. God is doing some great and even miraculous things around us. God bless you all.